Hello and welcome to the all new ThyGap podcast. It's a ThyGap Thursday. This is me being Brute, and with me is
Bogus Noog.
Bogus. Welcome to the new episode.
I thought we agreed we would stop welcoming each other at the start of the episode, bro.
Yes, but it's hard to quit. Old habits die hard.
It is hard to quit, yes.
Old habits die hard. And that brings us to revealing today's episode's topic. We are still continuing the famous template of It's Not Easy, quitting.
Quitting.
It's a difficult word to pronounce, right? Quitting.
Yeah. Quit repeating that.
Yeah.
Word, please.
Okay. Anyways, so we are into the new episode. Today's topic is quitting. But before that, Bogus, being professional podcasters,
Yes.
we have to do our prerequisites.
The most important thing.
Instagram, we are on.
@_ThyGap.
Twitter and Vero, we are on.
@ThyGap.
If somebody wants to write an email to us,
mindthygap@gmail.com.
booyakasha, that's all, guys. That's all you guys need to know. Rest all is just like filler.
Yeah, so quit being so silent.
Yes, and heat up your coffee mugs. Bogus, quitting is our topic today, and we are amazing at it.
Oh, yeah.
Last time we did discipline, which we are not at all good at.
Yep.
So this time we chose something that is right up our alley.
Yes.
So if you can help me understand the context in which we are talking about
As far as the context goes, it is very close to
our heart.
the conventional understanding of the word.
Yeah.
What we mean by quitting. However, I thought I'll just mention something interesting about the etymology of this word, that is how it came about. There were actually two aspects, Brute, to this word when it was getting formed. One is still the conventional meaning that we understand it
Okay.
as quitting. The other aspect of it is not just, letting go of something or abandoning something or relinquishing something, but also they describe it as being free of something, of a state of absolute calm and peace, of being unmarried. They actually
You don't have
use
to you don't have to bold that
It's
in
not
your
me.
voice. I could see the bold in your voice. Unmarried.
They actually mention it, bro. So I can't be.
I somehow feel you are they. The way you are putting it across, it seems like you are they here. Are you following the whole identity politics and calling yourself they now?
They, them.
Is that your LinkedIn pronouns?
But it is kind of odd and interesting that this one aspect of the significance of the word, which has to do with letting go of something and reaching a state of calm, being free, ultimately. This aspect, I think in our conventional understanding of the word, we don't use it in that way anymore.
Yeah.
It is only that one aspect of letting go or abandoning. That's the only thing that we continuously use it.
Yeah, and I think this will be one of those episodes where we dig deep into the context itself. Okay. And if you look at it when this word was formed, back then people only did what was meaningful for them. So obviously, whenever they had to stop doing what they're doing, they needed a word which had gravitas.
Yeah.
It's not like what we do today, that 8 out of 10 things that we do, we shouldn't be doing it anyhow.
Yeah.
Back then 8 out of 10 things that they were doing were meant to be done.
Yeah.
If you stop doing that, you'll not survive.
Yeah. And lucky for them, back then, they also had the word gravitas
Yeah.
to understand
The meaning. I mean, gravitas came before quitting.
Yeah.
Obviously, But that's what I feel. Quitting as a word, if it goes by what you just mentioned, what is called etymology.
Yeah, etymology.
Yeah, the etymology of the word. It tells you a lot about from where they were looking at this as an activity. Unlike, how we have blasphemized the whole concept of quitting today.
We made it more one-dimensional. I think.
Yeah.
It was two-dimensional before.
Everything was 3-dimensional before.
Yeah.
It went into length, depth, and width.
Yeah.
Or is it height?
Well,
Height and depth are the same.
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
So again, a little of trigonometry there for you.
absolutely.
We cover it all.
Yeah, we recently had a mathematician follow us, so this is only for that person.
For that one person.
That
we
one person.
We personalize our episodes to each and every audience of ours.
Who already knows a lot more than us.
Who probably have a PhD
Yeah,
in that. This is just for their entertainment. It's like
That's
is there cheap thrill saying that, oh, what an idiot.
Yeah.
This is not at all what it means. But Bogus, there's another way of looking at quitting as an activity, which is not etymology, but it's more like physiology, which is there are different ways of doing it.
Right.
There's a cold turkey way of quitting things
Yeah.
as a verb. If you use quit as a verb, and then there is a gradual phase off,
Yeah.
like how the dancers move out of the stage slowly
Yeah.
rather than just stop in their step and then bow down.
A staggered approach is what they say partially.
Okay, is it? Oh, fine.
In some parts of the world.
I'm assuming it's from England.
I don't know, like, but a phase out approach is exactly what. This is another thing that I hear a lot of people talking about quitting this, quitting that, bro.
Yeah.
But they don't go into how could you quit? Like what are the ways? What are the different options you have? I find it rare that people even mention that, hey, you can quit cold turkey or you can try a phase out approach, because cold turkey does not work all the time. So
yeah, the other reason why they would not be discussing about how you could quit is maybe because they don't still know why they should quit.
Well, I'm talking about, these motivational speaker types
Oh,
who on YouTube, they make videos, right?
oh yeah.
So they're talking about quitting this thing, quitting that thing. It's one thing to tell people that, okay, it's probably good to let go of something.
Yeah.
But maybe it's more helpful to also go into, the dynamics of letting go. Like what challenges you might encounter and how you might want to negotiate that process of quitting. Like, for example, cold turkey. There are some things that subjectively all of us can quit cold turkey,
Yeah.
which maybe other people can't.
Like living.
Right.
Like living is probably the only thing that we can all unanimously quit cold turkey. There's no gradual process of.
No, and gradual process is very painful as well. So
there is no gradual process.
There is. I mean,
it is black and white unless you somehow trick yourself to go into coma.
Yeah, I don't want to get too explicit, but teenage girls, you tend to follow a more gradual process, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. And South Africa. South Africa knows how to exit a world tournament gradually. They never give you the impression that they are ever exiting. In fact, they start off giving you an impression that they are winning that world tournament.
Right.
And then gradually, they very tactfully put themselves in positions where all it takes is one decent loss.
Right. Because
and
otherwise,
boom.
there's no value of dropping off. Right? If you don't climb a peak before you drop off, then people don't
Doesn't become a hero story.
Yeah.
It doesn't become an interesting story.
Yeah. And South Africa, they're so used to this cycle. They do it every 4 years.
Every 4 years.
Yeah.
It's what is the word? It's clinical.
Yeah. But the gradual process also, there's more pain involved when it comes to life, like you said.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. You either live or die. It's always cold turkey. But there are two ways of doing it.
Yeah.
And you need to be smart about which way you pick for what, if at all you are trying to quit something. Yeah, that's more or less the context in which we're going to take forward. Quitting is not easy.
The other part of it, bro, which I find goes unmentioned, is that the expectations part of it. Even when you say, okay, you can phase it out, there is an expectation of perfectionism. Like if I fail once, then I need to go back now. Like if I wanted to quit drinking, but if I just had a sip in a moment of
it
weakness,
won't hurt.
Now I've already opened the gates.
Yeah,
I might as well.
It happens.
Shots. Like
I think it happens more with cigarettes than smoking than alcohol.
I think both of them are
equal.
Equal footing. Yeah.
Maybe I don't have that problem with alcohol, so I wouldn't know.
I mean, me too. Like smoking and alcohol are things that I can quit cold turkey.
I couldn't quit smoking.
Right.
But alcohol, even on a given day or like a crazy occasion, like my daughter is getting married or something, I can just let go with one sip. Like during my marriage, I just had a sip, or I didn't even have a sip. But even if I did, I just never, the floodgates didn't open up for me.
Right. No, because you're not an alcoholic. That's why. Because that's what happens with alcoholics. For them, it's like, even the smell, it sets them off on a path.
Oh.
Is that bad?
Again, so it's food for me that way.
Right.
Like if I remember, I know it sounds crazy, but when I went on a diet to build muscle, and building muscle has like this whole diet is 80% of it and crap like that.
Yeah.
So when I went on that diet, there came a point where I could smell sugar in stuff. I think after 4 or 5 months, I completely quit sugar.
Right.
And wherever, if I went to somebody's house and they're serving coffee or something, I could smell sugar from the coffee.
Right.
It went that bad. So that kind of drove me nuts. Like that, I would literally get shivers. Like I would shake, saying that I need sugar right now.
Yeah.
My body would just like fight very hard for me to go grab some sugar. And that's what happened eventually. Like after like whatever time that I did it, there came a point I was like, fuck it, like can't do it anymore. I went straight to the kitchen, opened the box of sugar, like sugar that we use, sugar, just sat in front of the TV and ate straight from the box.
Holy
I ate refined sugar, plain refined sugar for about 20 minutes. as if I was eating peanuts.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I literally went into a sugar rush after that. So food also does that to me. I think food to quit something. I think food is the toughest thing to quit more than any alcohol or substance or nicotine or anything.
I mean, if you quit on food, you're basically quitting on life in a slow phase
I'm
out.
I'm not saying like quit food in the sense like quit eating food.
Right.
But it's like, the normal diets that you have on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
So you have to go into a diet for, either losing weight or improving your cholesterol or whatever.
Yeah.
If you go down to salads and brown rice and stuff like that, it's very difficult to hold on to it. It gets very, very tricky.
Yeah, that's for sure. But coming back to that point about, we say it's either cold turkey or a phase out approach. And subjectively for all of us, there are things that we can quit cold turkey, but there are things we can't.
Yeah.
And in a phase out approach also, I find that expectation of perfectionism or lack of empathy for yourself, not being kind to yourself, that, okay, I plan to never touch this again. Or let's say from 10 cigarettes a day, I want to cut it down to 4.
Yeah.
And one day you happen to push it to 6.
Yeah.
And rather than thinking, okay, at least there are 4 other cigarettes that I didn't smoke to make up my 10, I overshot by 2. But okay, this is a failure, but fine. I'll still keep trying, keep trying to bring it out, because phase out approach is you are still sticking to it, but you're trying to reduce the frequency, right?
Right.
So even if we fail, we still need to be stubborn enough, and adamant enough to not let that completely destroy our hopes and dreams, and just think, okay, fine, I failed once, no matter, I'll just keep trying.
Yeah.
So that lack of empathy also tends to be there.
Yeah. The level of excitement that with which we are talking about quitting shows what big experts we are about quitting and why it's not easy.
Yeah.
So without further ado, Bogus, I think we already touched upon a couple of points here, but still, nevertheless, formality's sake, let us introduce the segment as to we are going to discuss about why it's not easy to quit.
Yes. Just stopped abruptly.
Just abrupt, cold turkey.
You just quit the line. Cold turkey.
Yeah.
Why is it
you
not
want
easy?
You want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I mean, why is it not easy to quit today? One thing is, of course, when we're talking about quitting, it is connecting to things that we finding it hard to quit, which means we are probably addicted to that in some way or the other.
Yeah.
So it kind of connects to addiction and all the dynamics.
Enrique Iglesias.
What?
Baby, I'm addicted.
Okay.
I'm out of control.
So it involves addiction and all the dynamics, therein, which we've covered in detail in our episode, Addiction, It's Not Easy.
Plug.
Check it out.
Yes.
But it comes back to why we are unable to quit, because we're probably addicted to it. Why are we addicted to it? Probably because there is a dopamine loop that is involved there, that we either want to keep getting the same dopamine hit, or we want to keep pushing that high.
Yeah.
Pushing that tolerance to see, can I get a bigger high? Can I get a bigger high?
Yeah.
So it kind of goes into that. I would say that is the first reason why it is not easy to quit, because of that connection with addiction.
Yeah. I think anything worth quitting is bound to be something which is addictive. It's predefined. It would be much easier if it's not addictive, right? Like, tell me one thing that you're not addicted to and you find it hard to quit.
I can't think of anything else.
Exactly my point.
Quit. Yeah. When you find it hard to quit, it means you are
addicted. It means you're addicted. So it's a prerequisite that you are addicted to something, and that's why it's very difficult to quit it, or you even find it a reason to quit it.
Yeah.
If you're not addicted to it, I think you wouldn't find a reason to quit it. Like, I don't know, eating Tic Tacs in even numbers, or having your biscuit in a certain way with your tea. Stuff
that's
like
going
that.
into OCD stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I'm saying. If you are planning to quit something, that means you already find that to be addictive to you, which is taking you away from your normalcy.
Yeah.
But why I feel it's not easy to quit anything worth quitting for yourself, is purely the amount of willpower it takes, and added to that, the amount of courage it takes. And it depends on what you're trying to quit. These two aspects will come into the picture. Like, quitting any substance, it takes willpower.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of courage, but it's more like a matter of willpower.
Yeah.
But quitting something like a job so that you move to a better job, or say you want to pursue a passion or whatever reasons, that takes courage more than willpower.
Right.
So these two have like a paramount importance for you to execute quitting something. Same way, I think, you know how it takes a lot of willpower for you to go and propose to some girl as a guy. And we only speak about as a guys, right? Courage. It takes the same amount of courage or willpower to move on from that person too.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a beautiful thing actually. That is the same thing that will get into you, get that. We don't use that amount of will practice of using that amount.
So now you're talking versus or not someone context.
The way, you know, quitting.
Romantic context as an example, friends or people
too.
or someone
and say a nosy aunt, abusive uncle or them. I just want to dial it down a little. The first fronting it, that this is a fact. To quit smoking, the first thing for me is to confirm is really bad and accepting that I should not be anymore.
Right.
You can't get to that process of till you actually buy steps.
Yeah.
If you're able, a lot of courage is already achieved. Same thing goes with what you mentioned, like a bad friend who's like a negative influence to you or who's toxic in nature.
Yeah.
Or, you know, who's just a backbiter and you hate his face or whatever. You want to do that. The first thing for you to do is like, yes, I really want this guy out of my life. And then it is to go and tell that person saying that you are out of my life.
Yeah.
Which takes that courage and willpower aspect.
Yeah. And also because when it comes to quitting someone, then it also comes along with the fear of being lonely or losing out, right? The fear of losing.
Fear of losing, yes. That's another reason why it's not easy.
To quit someone.
Or quit someone, yes. Or quit something, even like life events. You know, you want to quit a marriage, you want to quit
How do you quit a marriage?
Divorce. What do you mean? How do you quit a marriage?
Okay, I was...
To let go, stick to the etymology. Like quitting is also like letting go.
Yeah. No, I was...
how do you quit?
Thinking of a wedding when you said marriage.
Yeah, even a wedding. Like not, but if it's your wedding.
That's what I'm saying,
somebody else's wedding.
Yeah.
No, it's like you want to get out of marriage. You want to get out of a job. You want to get out of the house. Like it doesn't necessarily has to be toxic.
Right.
But it can also be for your own well-being, right? You want to go live independently and you want to ask your parents' permission or whatever that it is that you want to do.
Yeah.
It's basically letting go, right? It's like, I'm going to let go all this comfort. I'm going to let go all this pampering or attention or, you know, money in most of the cases. And the fear of this losing piece, right? Like comes in many ways. Again, when you connect that to quitting as a verb.
Right.
There are a lot of things that you don't feel right about and you want to quit doing it to be a better person for yourself.
Yeah.
But you don't do that because you fear what the society might think of you.
Right. Peer pressure.
I'll give you multiple examples. But the top example is the whole Three Idiots thing where the kid, Madhavan, wants to quit engineering so that he can become a wildlife photographer. But up till the end, he never tells that to his dad.
Yeah.
Because he's afraid what his dad might think of him.
Yeah.
The other thing is, you know, what is floating around today, which is the whole concept of political correctness or, you know, diplomacy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Say you want to like get away from all this and just say things for what it is. And this happens to a lot of teenagers actually. When they try to like put things the way they are to your family, immediate family members or, you know, your relatives.
Yeah.
And your parents would come on like, why do you have to say it like that?
Yeah.
Why don't you like, you know, you shouldn't be saying stuff like that openly. You know, it's okay if you believe in them, but you don't have to go or yap your mouth around saying that you believe in this.
Right.
So that also creates a certain fear as you keep growing up as to what people might think, which will not, you know, allow you to quit. And this is very subjective. It's also very specific to very few topics, not everything.
I think it's an example for all those things in life that are actually worthwhile for us to quit. That these things would actually be good for us to quit, but because of the way our society behaves and functions, they will actually end up treating you like a loser or treating you like a less than. When you actually end up quitting those things.
A spineless guy.
I mean, not necessarily spineless, but in fact the opposite. They'll think of you or they'll start looking at you as a troublemaker.
Oh yeah, you know, like radical.
Like a radical, like an extremist. Like you actually get off on being so rude.
Yeah.
And you're trying to say, no, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm trying to be blunt because...
Straight.
I'm trying to be straight because I'm trying to be frank and I'm trying to be honest.
Yeah.
And I'm not sugarcoating anything deliberately because I want you to get the message pure.
Correct.
Because I care about your well-being or something.
Right.
If you were some Conkiska third party... some guy on the street,
I
probably would be very diplomatic and very polite I probably wouldn't even dig too deep into,
I'll like
my
move on
feedback.
from it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just cursory, I'll just say something and I'll just move on.
Yeah.
But because you're my friend, because you're someone who I care about, I'm actually giving you the raw, unfiltered that you probably won't get from anyone else.
Yeah.
But now you're reacting negatively towards me because you want sugarcoating, like even from me,
Yeah. It happens a lot often, which is why we have done episodes on integrity, honesty, and all these, where these are not easy because of this reason. And quitting also, ironically, is not easy because of this exact reason, where we are also worried about what people might think. I mean, I'm never a fan of that statement. Winners are not quitters,
right?
kind of a thing. Like, are you kidding me? You know how many habits they had to quit? Like, Virat Kohli had to quit eating his favorite food to become a better athlete.
So the statement you're referring to, just for reference, is winners don't quit and quitters don't win. That's the statement.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of paraphrase that.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe in it. I don't give a shit about it.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to quit. Understanding quitting is really important. It is, because if you don't, there's a very thin line between quitting and sacrifice. So at this point, again, formalities bogus.
Mm-hmm.
I have to introduce the next segment, which is why it is important to quit.
Yeah.
Or yeah, it's why it is important to quit. Just silence.
Yeah.
Like, let's quit talking right now. But okay, as a continuation, right? Like the whole concept of winners don't quit and quitters don't win.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's not entirely true, or it is extremely contextual.
Yeah.
There's a bigger goal which you shouldn't quit.
Mm.
You shouldn't quit focusing on the bigger goal.
Right.
But there are so many things on the way which you should quit for your own benefit.
Yeah.
And there's a very thin line, according to me, between quitting and sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like if you quit something which benefits you,
Mm-hmm.
though it is very hard for you,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's borderline sacrifice. Or if you quit something for the sake of the bigger goal or the greater good,
Yeah.
like Thanos did, like I quit 10,000 lives or half the population.
Right.
Boom. It's a sacrifice according to Thanos, but
According
Avengers,
to him, yeah.
yeah, but Avengers think it's not. But whatever Avengers quit, like the buildings, the city infrastructure.
Oh, they quit a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah, right. The enormous amount of tax money,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
That, according to them, is a sacrifice.
Is a sacrifice, yeah. That they're willing to make every single week.
Yeah, every single day. They
Yeah.
wake up in the morning, 4 buildings are gone.
That's it.
Like traffic is jammed, like I don't know what else. Like they are going to other planets and demolishing their infrastructure.
Yeah. And the other thing is, quitting is important because, like, it's connecting to what you said, of course. I think if you, as an example, if you look at it as a office desk that you're working on,
Yeah.
you have 2 sets of file holders on either side. One is the files come in, incoming files and outgoing files.
Yeah.
So there's always a limited.
Which office are you talking about, by the way? Because I don't know which office has files coming in and going out. Is this like 1970 when you started working?
Yeah, it's back in the,
Back in the day.
Yeah, back in the
like
day.
the post office, the government offices, you're saying.
But basically, the point of the example is that there's only a limited amount that you can carry at any given point of time. Which means if we are someone who wants to, or at least one of our goals is to keep growing, keep evolving, keep learning new things, every passing year. Does that mean can we just keep adding without any consequence? Like, for example, I had a certain hobby of, I want to learn after a few years that, okay, now I want to start a podcast. I'll have to, without any consequence. I have to come to terms with certain things. It's a very undeniable thing. It's going to be very.
My take is like letting go all these things. Story has a happy ending. In the hindsight, all this will look like sacrifices. Do you really realize that these are sacrifices you're making so that you become, or do you find them to let go so that you sacrifice a present term or like a future, like past tense?
I think it depends on how much we want it in that moment, right? Like, for example, there could be something that I could really enjoy in the present day. I could really want to be involved in that, but I have to give it up. When I consciously know that I like it so much, but I'm still giving it up, then I feel that I'm sacrificing in the present. But there are situations where I give up some things, then later I realize, that was a sacrifice.
Yeah. Like, for the sake of your career growth, you don't spend enough time with your child.
Right.
That is a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I get the difference.
If you like your child.
If it is your child.
Like if you
if
value,
it is your child.
yeah, if it is your child, first of all,
Yeah.
but then also if you value spending time with your child, first of all, then if you're still giving it up, then it is a sacrifice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
we're not stating the obvious here.
yeah,
We don't know how people look at their own children.
yeah, of course.
So we can't really comment on it. We can't generalize that.
It's all subjective.
Yeah, it's all subjective. It's all relative.
Yeah, but the whole point is no matter how many things we want to chase and no matter how many goals we have, we're still working around the same number of hours a day. So out of 24 hours, 6 to 8 hours on average goes to sleep.
Yeah.
So the remaining 18 or whatever hours you have is what you have to plan it in.
Yeah. The other way of looking at it is why quitting is important is because if you don't understand the value of quitting something, you would not know what to let go for the sake of the bigger good or the greater good.
You become like a hoarder.
Yeah, you become like a Parsi house.
Yeah.
Where everything is just coming in and nothing is going out.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a Parsi house?
I've been in my house.
Yes,
And,
this too. This too, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not Parsi, by the way, but my house also, there's quite a bit of hoarding going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and you need to learn to let go because you reduce baggage.
Yeah.
And the lighter you pack while moving forward, the faster you move or the easier, not faster, but I would say easier you move.
Yeah, you're more nimble, you're more
Yeah.
flexible, agile.
Yeah, imagine you're going on a trek to the top of the hill and every stick that you find, you're like, I'll use it later. And you keep it in the bag. I'll use it later.
This
I'll keep it
might
in
be
the bag.
useful.
Yeah, this might be useful. You never know.
Hi, mom. Hi to all the moms.
Hi to all the moms. So, that just creates, you never understand to like every small thing will become an ordeal for you.
And especially the context in which we're talking about quitting right now, in this example, right?
Yeah.
It kind of, if you look at it in an esoteric way or philosophical way or a spiritual way, it is touching close to that cycle of creation, maintenance, and destruction that we have in our spirituality.
Yeah.
That we believe the universe works along these principles.
Correct.
So that destruction aspect of it is the same parallel to the quitting that we're talking about.
Yeah.
You can't keep evolving and growing as a person unless you are destroying a part of yourself.
Yeah.
To make room for new things to come in.
We are starting a new school called the Art of Engineering of Inner Living, where we give you esoteric philosophical shit.
Yeah.
Which can be pseudo useful to have like intense Tinder conversations.
We will have our own color uniforms.
Yes.
It will be on a tropical island, and we will select the sadhaks and sadhikas ourselves.
Mostly sadhikas.
Mostly sadhikas, yes.
And we will soon be in the press for
a lot of reasons.
A lot of reasons.
A lot of wonderful reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not easy, guys.
Yeah, a Netflix documentary.
We will sign up a Netflix documentary, probably a spot in Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah.
A lot of things.
And there we'll go into Tantra. It's not easy.
Yeah. The mantra
for the Tantra. Let me teach you.
It's not easy.
Subscribe and share.
Yeah. There will be blood.
And when we say share, we are talking about the sadhakas.
The sadhakas, yes, please.
Yeah.
It's free to enroll, but little expensive for life.
Oh yeah.
But that's why it's important. Why quitting is important for these aforementioned reasons.
Right.
But coming back to that point, I kept using but for so many times. The sadhikas, but if all this.
Oh yeah.
All like, same bunch.
It's like my English professor used to say, bro, back in my school, there is a but. There is a big but.
Did he end that sentence with, and I married it?
No.
Or did he say that it came after my marriage? I didn't see it coming.
That part was not as important to him. Like, the importance
when it came.
That's it.
Yeah, it is. Is it there or not?
Is it there or not?
Yeah, and it's there.
The late great Mishra sir salutes to you. You always knew how to spot the butts. Yeah.
Wait for the latest template of ThyGap. It's called If Buts and ThyGaps.
Yep.
Great. So that was about quitting. It's not easy.
Yep.
And we have done a fair job about it. I think we did a decent bit.
It's time to quit the episode.
It's time to let go our audience.
Yes.
And help them get their mental peace. Get their freedom back.
Yeah.
But before we do that, like we always say, ThyGap, subscribe.
And share.
Don't quit. Just don't quit.